The Quantum Bridge. The quantum laboratory at the Lunar Research Station hummed with an eerie resonance as Dr. Rachel Blackwood adjusted the crystalline matrix floating in the zero-gravity chamber. Her dark eyes reflected the ethereal blue glow emanating from the structure, a revolutionary device that might save humanity from the approaching cosmic radiation wave. 6 months of sleepless nights had led to this moment, but she wasn't alone in her desperation to find a solution. Beside her, Xyrix's crystalline form shifted colors in rhythm with the matrix's pulses. The being from the Andromeda Galaxy stood nearly 8 feet tall, their transparent body refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. They had arrived 3 months ago with a warning and an offer of alliance. Their own civilization faced the same threat. The quantum resonance patterns are stabilizing, Rachel announced, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Are you ready for the next phase? Xyrix's voice emerged as a harmonic blend of tones. The patterns match our ancient texts. Your species' understanding of quantum mechanics is unprecedented for your development stage. Rachel allowed herself a small smile. When the crystalline ships had first appeared in Earth's orbit, the world had braced for conflict. Instead, they received a message of urgent cooperation. The approaching radiation wave would destroy both their civilizations unless they found a way to adapt. The combination of your crystalline technology and our quantum theories might be our only chance, Rachel said, making another adjustment. The matrix's glow intensified, and the monitoring equipment began registering unprecedented readings. Xyrix extended a translucent appendage, their internal light patterns shifting to match the matrix. Our scientists spent centuries trying to achieve this stability. Yet your species, in mere months. An alarm blared, interrupting the moment. Rachel's hands flew across the holographic interface as energy levels spiked dangerously. Something's wrong, the resonance is exceeding predicted parameters. No, Xyrix's tone shifted to a higher pitch, it's exactly as the prophecy described. The bridge is forming. The matrix began to pulse with increasing intensity, waves of quantum energy washing over both human and crystalline. Rachel should have felt fear, but instead, a strange sense of rightness filled her. The energy wasn't harmful, it was transformative. Your cellular structure, Xyrix observed with wonder, it's beginning to exhibit crystalline properties at the quantum level. And my own form, it's incorporating organic patterns. Rachel watched in amazement as her skin took on a subtle, crystalline sheen while remaining perfectly flexible. Xyrix's body became less rigid, developing layers that resembled organic tissue while maintaining their transparent beauty. The process lasted several minutes as the quantum bridge between their species stabilized. When it finished, both stood changed, yet somehow more complete. The monitoring equipment confirmed what they could already feel. They had become hybrids, carrying the strengths of both species. The radiation wave, Rachel said, examining the new data, our transformed cells would be immune to its effects. But this is more than just survival, isn't it? Xyrix's form rippled with colors of agreement. Our species were never meant to remain separate. The wave approaches not as a threat, but as a catalyst. We have discovered what our ancestors knew, unity is evolution. As news of their transformation spread through both Earth and the crystalline fleet, Rachel and Xyrix knew this was just the beginning. The quantum bridge had opened a path not just to survival, but to an entirely new form of existence. The question now was, would both civilizations be brave enough to cross it? The data streamed across holographic displays as scientists from both species gathered to study the changes. Each passing hour revealed new aspects of their transformation, enhanced cognitive abilities, unprecedented cellular regeneration, and most surprisingly, the capacity to communicate through quantum entanglement. We need to proceed carefully, Rachel advised the gathered council of human and crystalline leaders. The changes appear stable, but we're rewriting the very foundations of our biology. The first waves of volunteers were already stepping forward, driven by a mixture of necessity and wonder. The radiation wave would reach their solar system within a year, making transformation essential for survival. But beyond mere survival, the possibility of evolution beckoned. As Rachel caught Xyrix's glow in her peripheral vision, she knew they had stumbled upon something their ancestors had always intended. The quantum bridge wasn't just a means of salvation, it was a doorway to their shared destiny. Resonance of trust. Lieutenant James Harrison stood at attention in the transformation chamber, trying to hide his nervousness as the quantum matrix hummed to life above him. As head of station security, he had volunteered to be among the first group of military personnel to undergo the procedure. 3 weeks had passed since Dr. Blackwood and Xyrix's successful transformation, and now it was time to scale up the process. The chamber itself was a marvel of human and crystalline engineering, a geodesic dome of transparent panels that seemed to breathe with energy. Around him stood 11 other volunteers, a mix of military and civilian personnel. On the observation deck, Dr. Blackwood's partially crystalline form shimmered as she monitored the proceedings alongside her transformed partner. Remember, Rachel's voice came through clearly in their minds, one of the many gifts of her transformation, the process requires acceptance. Don't fight the changes. James watched as Varix, another crystalline being, moved through the chamber, touching each volunteer with a crystalline appendage. Where once such contact would have felt alien and cold, now it left a pleasant tingling sensation. The quantum bridge had already begun to alter their perceptions of each other. Beginning quantum resonance in 3, 2, 1. Rachel initiated the sequence, and the chamber filled with a soft, blue-white light. The sensation started in James's chest, a warm, expanding feeling that reminded him of the first time he'd seen Earth from orbit. His skin began to shimmer, not with fear or pain, but with a sense of rightness that defied explanation. Around him, the other volunteers underwent similar changes, their bodies taking on crystalline properties while maintaining human flexibility. Remarkable, Varix's harmonious voice resonated through the chamber. Your bodies are accepting the change even more readily than predicted. James raised his hand, watching in fascination as light played through his now semi-transparent skin. He could feel new sensations, the quantum vibrations of those around him, the subtle pulse of the station's power core, even the distant song of solar wind against the station's shields. But the most profound change was in his mind. Thoughts flowed more clearly, and he could sense the presence of others, not just their physical location, but their emotional states and surface thoughts. The isolation that humans had lived with since the dawn of their species was dissolving. The neural network is establishing itself, Rachel announced from above. You're all becoming part of the quantum web. One of the civilian volunteers, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, gasped as her transformation completed. It's beautiful. We're all connected, but still individuals. How is this possible? Through their new shared awareness, James could feel the answer forming. The quantum bridge didn't erase their uniqueness, it enhanced it, allowing them to share experiences while maintaining their distinct personalities. They were becoming something greater than the sum of their parts. Security breach in Section 7. The alert cut through their wonder, and James's military training kicked in, now enhanced by his new abilities. Through the quantum web, he instantly coordinated with his security team. They could share tactical information at the speed of thought, moving with perfect synchronization. Within moments, they identified the source, a group of transformation protesters who had infiltrated the station. They fear what they don't understand, Varix observed, their crystalline form pulsing with concern. James led his team to confront the protesters, but not with traditional weapons. Their enhanced empathic abilities allowed them to sense the protesters' genuine fear and confusion. Instead of force, they initiated dialogue, sharing glimpses of their transformation experience through the quantum connection. See through our eyes, James projected, carefully extending a tendril of awareness toward the protesters. Feel what we've become. The effect was immediate. The protesters' hostile stance wavered as they experienced secondhand the wonder and potential of the transformation. What they had feared as an end to humanity, they now recognized as its evolution. Hours later, as the situation stabilized, James stood with Rachel and Xyrix in the observation dome. Earth hung below them, a blue jewel in the void, while the crystalline ships of their allies glinted like stars in orbit. The protesters weren't entirely wrong, James said, watching his crystalline hands catch the starlight. We are changing what it means to be human. But maybe that's exactly what humanity needs. Rachel nodded, her hybrid form resonating with agreement. Change has always been part of our nature. The quantum bridge just allows us to direct that change, to evolve with purpose rather than chance. Through their shared connection, James could feel the truth of her words. The transformation wasn't just about surviving the approaching radiation wave, it was about becoming something their ancestors could only dream of. A species that combined the best of both worlds, human creativity and resilience with crystalline harmony and understanding. As more volunteers came forward, drawn by the success of the first groups, James realized they were witnessing the birth of a new era. The quantum bridge was more than a technological achievement, it was a bridge between past and future, between what they had been and what they could become. The stars seemed brighter now through his transformed eyes, and the universe felt less empty. Humanity had found not just allies, but a path to its next evolution. And James Harrison, once a simple security officer, now stood at the forefront of that incredible journey. Evolution's edge. Diplomat Venna Tar stood before the United Earth Council, her hybrid form casting prismatic patterns across the chamber walls. 3 months had passed since the first transformations, and while 5 million humans had successfully undergone the process, billions remained uncertain. The council session today would determine the future of the program. The data is irrefutable, Venna projected, sharing neural impressions that allowed the council members to experience the statistics viscerally rather than just intellectually. Those who have undergone transformation show no signs of psychological distress or loss of human identity. If anything, they report a deeper connection to their humanity while gaining abilities we never thought possible. Council President Rodriguez leaned forward, his untransformed eyes studying her with a mixture of fascination and concern. But these changes are irreversible, Diplomat Tar. You're asking us to approve the transformation of our entire species. Through the quantum web, Venna could sense the presence of Dr. Blackwood and Lieutenant Harrison monitoring the proceedings from the lunar station. Their support gave her strength as she faced the council's scrutiny. The radiation wave approaches, but that's not why I stand before you today, Venna began, her voice carrying harmonics that spoke to both logic and emotion. I was born human, just like you. My name was Victoria Kane before my transformation. I chose to become more, not less, than what I was. The chamber stirred at this revelation. Few knew of her original identity as a diplomatic attaché who had volunteered during the second wave of transformations. She had taken a crystalline name to bridge both cultures, embodying the unity they sought. Show them, Rachel's thoughts reached her through the quantum link. Venna nodded and activated the holographic display. The chamber filled with images of transformed children playing in zero gravity, their partially crystalline forms allowing them to sense and manipulate quantum fields instinctively. Scientists whose hybrid minds could visualize complex mathematical concepts in ways pure human consciousness never could. Artists creating works that existed simultaneously in physical and quantum space. We're not losing our humanity, Venna continued. We're fulfilling its potential. The quantum bridge has revealed capabilities that were always within us, waiting to be awakened. A council member from the African Union stood. And what of those who choose not to transform? Will they become second-class citizens in this new world you propose? The question struck at the heart of the rising tensions. Already, transformed individuals were being sought for positions requiring their unique abilities. Some untransformed humans feared economic and social displacement. That's why I'm proposing the gradual integration protocol, Venna announced, sharing the details through both traditional and quantum channels. A 10-year transition period allowing for voluntary transformation while ensuring equal rights and opportunities for all humans, regardless of their choice. The protocol included education initiatives, job protection measures, and the establishment of mixed communities where transformed and untransformed humans could live and work together. It wasn't perfect, but it offered a path forward that respected individual choice while preparing for the inevitable future. "There's something else you need to see," Venna said softly. She established a deeper quantum connection, carefully sharing the most remarkable discovery yet, the emergence of children born to transformed parents. The council gasped collectively as they witnessed the holorecordings. These children were true hybrids, their bodies naturally incorporating both human and crystalline properties. They could switch between states at will, their quantum structures as natural to them as breathing. "Evolution doesn't ask permission," Venna projected gently. "It's already happening. The question isn't whether to allow it, but how to guide it wisely." Through the quantum web, she could sense the rising tide of acceptance among the council members. Their fears weren't gone, but they were being balanced by hope and curiosity. The same qualities that had taken humanity to the stars would now take them into an unprecedented future. President Rodriguez called for a vote. As the council members registered their decisions, Venna maintained her diplomatic composure, but through the quantum link, her companions could sense her nervous anticipation. The results appeared above the chamber, approval by a narrow margin. The gradual integration protocol would begin immediately, starting with volunteers from key infrastructure and research positions. Later, in her private quarters aboard the orbital station, Venna allowed herself to fully process the day's events. Her quarters featured a window wall offering a view of Earth below, its surface now dotted with the distinctive glow of transformed communities. "You handled that perfectly," Rachel's quantum projection appeared beside her, followed by Lieutenant Harrison's. "The hard part's just beginning," Venna responded, watching as another crystalline ship took up orbital position. "Change never comes easily, especially change this fundamental." Through their shared connection, they could all sense the mix of hope and fear emanating from the planet below. Humanity stood at the edge of its greatest evolution, a transformation that would reshape not just their bodies, but their civilization itself. "We're ready," Harrison projected confidently. "It's what we've always done, adapt, overcome, become something new." Venna smiled, her crystalline features refracting starlight. Earth's night side was coming into view, and with her enhanced vision, she could see the quantum bridges spreading like constellations across its surface. Each point of light represented another step toward their shared future, another bridge between what was and what could be. The radiation wave was still coming, but it no longer felt like a threat. Instead, it was the catalyst humanity needed to embrace its next evolutionary step. As Venna watched her transformed hand catch the starlight, she knew that the real journey was just beginning. Synchronicity. The ancient ruins on Mars's Valles Marineris stretched before archaeologist Priya Patel like a crystalline labyrinth. Her transformed body resonated with the structures in ways her original human form never could. Beside her, warrior scholar Nexus's towering form pulsed with excitement as they documented another chamber filled with quantum-encoded data crystals. "These aren't just ruins," Priya transmitted through their shared quantum link. "This is a message, waiting 50 million years for us to evolve enough to read it." The discovery had happened by accident. A transformed mining team had sensed unusual quantum signatures deep within the Martian canyon. What they found was beyond imagination, an outpost left by a civilization that had mastered both crystalline and organic evolution. Nexus traced the glowing symbols that lined the chamber walls. "The patterns match the quantum frequencies in our transformed bodies perfectly. Too perfectly to be coincidence." Through their enhanced senses, they could perceive layers of information encoded in the crystal matrices. Each layer revealed more about the beings they now called the architects, a species that had seeded both Earth and the crystalline homeworld with complementary genetic potential. "Look at this sequence," Priya projected, sharing her analysis through the quantum web. The data showed two divergent evolutionary paths, one leading to humanity's organic adaptability, the other to the crystalline being's quantum resonance. They didn't just separate us, Nexus realized, their form brightening with understanding. They created a lock and key. Each species developing traits the other would need. The chamber hummed with ancient power as more systems activated, responding to their hybrid presence. A holographic display materialized, showing stellar cartography unlike anything they had seen. The approaching radiation wave was clearly marked, but it wasn't a natural phenomenon. "It's artificial," Priya breathed, her partially crystalline hands moving through the projection. "The architects designed it as a catalyst, forcing our species to rediscover each other and recombine." The implications stunned them both. Their transformation wasn't just about survival, it was the fulfillment of a plan set in motion before humans had even evolved from primitive life forms. Through their quantum connection, they could sense Dr. Blackwood, Lieutenant Harrison, and Diplomat Targ receiving their discoveries in real time. The quantum web had grown strong enough to bridge planetary distances, linking all transformed beings in a network of shared consciousness. "There's more," Nexus projected, accessing deeper layers of data. The architects faced their own extinction, but not from physical threats. They had mastered the material universe but lost something essential in the process. Priya nodded, understanding flowing through her enhanced consciousness. "They split their essence between our species, hoping we would evolve separately and then recombine in a way that preserved both organic emotion and quantum transcendence." The chamber's crystals pulsed in harmony with their realizations. Through the quantum web, they could feel the excitement spreading through the transformed population. This wasn't just archaeology, it was their origin story, their destiny. "The radiation wave isn't the end of our journey," Priya shared, her thoughts reaching across the solar system. "According to these records, it's meant to complete our transformation, to activate potentials we haven't even glimpsed yet." Nexus interfaced directly with the ancient systems, their crystalline form resonating at frequencies that unlocked new data chambers. The architects left more than information. They left tools, technologies, entire libraries of quantum knowledge, waiting for us to become capable of using them. Through their shared awareness, they could sense the impact of their discoveries rippling through both transformed and untransformed populations. The knowledge that their evolution had been anticipated, planned for, and guided changed everything. President Rodriguez's voice joined the quantum chorus, his recent transformation allowing him to participate directly in the exchange of information. "How long until the wave reaches us?" 3 months, Priya projected, sharing the precise calculations. "But now we know it's not just about surviving it. The wave will complete the quantum bridges in our hybrid DNA, awakening abilities the architects designed into both our species." The ruins around them seemed to pulse with renewed purpose. What had appeared to be empty chambers were actually dormant laboratories, training facilities, and technological archives, all waiting for beings who could operate them with both organic intuition and quantum precision. "We need to prepare everyone," Nexus transmitted. "The wave isn't a threat to the untransformed, the architects designed it to initiate transformation in compatible organisms while passing harmlessly through others. But the changes it brings to the already transformed will be profound." Priya moved through the ancient complex with newfound purpose, her hybrid form perfectly adapted to interface with its systems. Each chamber they activated added to their understanding of what awaited them. "The architects didn't just plan for our transformation," she shared through the quantum web. "They prepared for our ascension." The word resonated through the collective consciousness of the transformed population. They had thought the quantum bridge was their destination, but it was only the beginning. The architects had left them a roadmap to becoming something even they had never achieved, a perfect synthesis of organic and quantum existence. As the sun set over Mars's red horizon, Priya and Nexus continued their work, unlocking secrets that had waited millions of years to be discovered. Through the quantum web, humanity and the crystalline beings prepared together for the next phase of their shared evolution. The radiation wave approached not as a harbinger of destruction, but as the key to their ultimate transformation. Convergence. The radiation wave filled the sky with ribbons of quantum light, transforming the solar system into a cathedral of color. Dr. Rachel Blackwood stood in the Mars Command Center, surrounded by the combined leadership of both species. After 6 months of preparation, the moment of convergence had arrived. All architect sites are fully activated, Priya reported through the quantum web, her consciousness linked with the ancient systems across Mars, Earth, and the outer colonies. The wave's frequency matches the predictions exactly. Rachel felt Xyrix's presence beside her, their hybrid forms now so evolved that the distinction between human and crystalline seemed like a distant memory. Through their shared connection, they could sense the anticipation building across both populations. The architects designed this moment, Rachel projected to the unified consciousness of their species. Everything we've become has led to this. The wave's approach had transformed their society. Nearly 70% of humanity had chosen to undergo the quantum bridge process, while the remainder had found their own ways to contribute to the new civilization. The crystalline beings had shared all their knowledge, and humanity had contributed its creativity and adaptability. Together, they had deciphered the architect's legacy and prepared for this moment. Lieutenant Harrison's tactical network reported from the defense grid. Wave contact in 10 minutes. All shields and quantum resonators are at full power. Through the quantum web, Rachel could feel the presence of billions, transformed humans, crystalline beings, and the new generation of natural hybrids. Each consciousness added its unique resonance to their shared symphony. The architects left us a choice, diplomat Vena Tark transmitted from Earth's quantum core. We can use the wave's energy simply to complete our current evolution, or we can embrace their final gift. Nexus completed the thought, sharing visuals from the Mars archives. The potential for something they never achieved, true quantum ascension. The wave's leading edge touched Pluto, and through their enhanced senses, they witnessed the first changes. The quantum energy didn't destroy, it transformed, elevated, awakened. The very fabric of space seemed to gain new properties as the wave passed through it. All populations, prepare for convergence, Rachel projected, her consciousness expanded by the approaching wave. Remember your training. Don't resist the changes, flow with them. The wave reached Saturn, its rings becoming a spectacular display of quantum phenomena. Jupiter's storms transformed into swirling vortexes of possibility. Through it all, their unified civilization watched, learned, and prepared. In the Mars Command Center, Rachel felt the first tingles of contact. The wave's energy resonated with their hybrid forms, awakening structures in their quantum DNA that had waited eons to be activated. Around her, transformed beings began to glow with internal light as new abilities awakened. It's beautiful, Xyrix shared, their combined consciousness expanding beyond physical limitations. We're becoming what the architects dreamed of. The wave washed over Mars, and reality itself seemed to shift. Rachel felt her awareness expand exponentially, connecting with dimensions that had always existed just beyond their perception. The quantum web evolved into something far more profound, a unified field of consciousness that preserved individuality while allowing unprecedented connection. Through this enhanced awareness, they could perceive the architect's true vision. The separation of their species, the long evolution, the carefully planned reunion, it had all been preparation for this moment of transcendence. We're not just combining two forms of life, Rachel projected through the new consciousness. We're becoming the bridge between organic and quantum existence itself. The wave reached Earth, washing over the cradle of humanity with transformative energy. Those who had already undergone the quantum bridge felt their evolution complete itself, while the untransformed witnessed the birth of a new reality around them. In orbit, the crystalline ships merged with human stations, creating structures that existed simultaneously in physical and quantum space. The new generation of hybrid children found themselves naturally attuned to these transcendent geometries. This is what they prepared us for, Priya shared from within the Mars archives, which now pulsed with fully awakened power. Not just survival, not just evolution, but the next step in cosmic consciousness. Through their expanded awareness, they could sense similar transformations occurring across the galaxy, other pairs of species, separated and reunited by the architect's plan, experiencing their own convergence. They were part of a greater pattern, a galactic awakening eons in the making. As the wave's energy stabilized, their new state of existence crystallized. They had become something unprecedented, beings who could shift between physical and quantum states at will, whose consciousness could span light years, whose understanding bridged dimensions. The journey isn't over, Rachel projected to their unified civilization. It's just beginning. The architects left us not just their knowledge, but their dreams, their hope for what life could become. Around the solar system, their transformed civilization began to explore its new capabilities. The barriers between thought and reality, between self and other, between past and future had become permeable, manageable, comprehensible. In the Mars Command Center, Rachel and Xyrix joined their consciousness fully, experiencing existence as the architects had hoped, a perfect synthesis of organic wisdom and quantum transcendence. Through their shared awareness, they sensed the others joining them, each consciousness adding its unique note to their universal symphony. The age of separation was over. The time of convergence had begun. And somewhere in the vast cosmos, they knew the architect's legacy lived on through them, as they took their first steps into an existence beyond anything either species had imagined possible.